guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a recommendation video for you of sports romances, specifically sports that either are in the Olympics or are not hockey or football. So I have a bunch of recommendations because the Olympics start soon. I love soccer, so I'm going to be primarily watching soccer and gymnastics, maybe some swimming, and maybe some other stuff. I don't know, there's just not enough time in the day to watch all the Olympics, but I'm a huge women's soccer fan. This one is I don't remember actually whose name's on the back anymore because I got to see them when they came to Columbus for a game last month, and they did not have like any merch, and so I had to settle for whoever's jersey this was. I don't even know. I guess you can look. Whose is it? Can you let me know? They did not have a single one of my favorite players, so I just settled for the shirt that they had. But we're gonna go ahead and get started because I am so into sports romances. I love them. I love them when they actually have the sport. I think we have a lot more soccer romances coming out, which I'm so excited for. I feel like we don't have a lot, and some authors that I love are gonna be writing them, so excited. And we'll go ahead and get started. I actually have one that takes place at the Olympics, and this one, I don't know if you've heard of it because this author used to be an all-time favorite of mine. I was obsessed with her books, and now she writes more rom-coms, so I don't read her new stuff. But Settling the Score by R.S. Gray is a soccer player and he's either a swimmer or a diver, and they literally have a romance at the Olympics. So it might be like, I don't remember actually which Olympics they are, but it was the Olympics that has passed, and they have a romance, and it's so good. Another one of my favorite ones. Oh, and he's British, by the way. I'm pretty sure he's British. But another one that I love by R.S. Gray is Scoring Wilder. So this one is a coach-athlete romance, and it's if you like culty. So there's not that big of an age gap between them, and he is the soccer coach, and I don't remember. It might be for the women's US team, now that I think about it. And like the girl in Settling the Score, I believe, is a friend from Scoring Wilder. But like he's super young, super hotshot player, and he's helping them. I literally, one of my favorite books of all time when I read it back in like, I want to say like 2017. And it was so good. It was so good. I just need her to write more like this. So I read this in 2015. Stop it. 9 years ago. So this one it was a joke to seduce the coach. She's 19 and he's a professional soccer player, and he becomes the coach for their team. I swear it was the US women's team, but like I said, it's been 9 years since I've read this book. Holy crap. So she is playing for college, and then she's trying to make the Olympic team. Okay, she's like, I don't need a distraction. So this was so good. Let's look at when Settling the Score came out. Oh, so good. Like, I need more romances like that. So good. Okay, so Settling the Score, I read... No, 2016. So I read Scoring Wilder 2015. I read this 2016. So she gets to the Olympic Village and she sees the British swimmer and they have chemistry, and I was obsessed. So, and I think I said that there's actually a lot of good sports in here, which is what I love in a sports romance. So yeah. Those two, please read them. Then I do have My Life in Shambles by Karina Halley. I have two Karina Halleys for this. This one, there's not a lot of the sport in here, but a lot of the book revolves around the hero being an athlete, and so he is a rugby player. The heroine actually goes on like this spur-of-the-moment trip to Ireland, I believe with her sisters, and she meets him in a bar, and she's like, is this really happening? And it's very emotional. He encounters something that's going to affect his career, and that's all I want to say. She has to pretend to be his fiance around his family for specific reasons, and it does turn very emotional. But Karina Halley is such a good author. I think I read these two a while ago as well, but her books get so angsty, and she's an author that really successfully jumps from like subgenre to subgenre in the romance sphere. So she's done rom-coms, she does emotional and angsty, she does like monster, vampires, sea monster kind of things. So I just love everything she writes, and I love this one. And then the other one that I love is The Forbidden Man. This one, I don't remember if it's now called The Younger Man. It was initially called one of those, either The Forbidden Man or The Younger Man, and then she had to change it because people were getting confused when they picked it up. But this is a soccer romance, and he is a younger man, and she was married to either a soccer player or soccer coach and got divorced and is now a trainer for this new team. And of course, it's like no fraternization. She doesn't want to like ruin her reputation. Falls for a younger soccer player who is so smitten with her. I love the younger man trope when he is just like a man obsessed. He is so gone for her and he does not care about anything staying in the way of their relationship. So this one has tons of soccer because like she's also works in the soccer sphere as well. So they are both in the industry and it's so good. It is so, so good. Please read this one. Then I have The Summer We Fell, which is surfing. And I don't know, is surfing in the Olympics? I don't know where they would surf in the Olympics. But The Summer We Fell is definitely a surfing romance because the hero is a professional surfer, and this one is so, so angsty. This one, he comes back to town and there are reasons for it, and we flash back to when him and the heroine were falling in love, but she was in a really bad home situation, so she basically like lived with her boyfriend's family and was falling out of love with her boyfriend and in love with her boyfriend's best friend. And she can't break up with her boyfriend because her life is just so ingrained in his and his family that she would just be like, what am I left to do? She's a teenager. And so the hero goes off to be a professional surfer. And that's the romance. So not like a ton of sports in here, but if you want a surfing romance, read this one. Then we have a golf romance, which I don't even think, is golf in the Olympics? Oh, okay. I don't feel as bad about this. So it says golf is back in the Olympic program after a century-long absence. Oh, it was brought back in 2016. Okay. So golf is not in every Olympics, but golf is back. So Sweet Spot by Rebecca Genchak. This is another athlete coach romance, and it's a little bit of an age gap. She is a college golfer and he is a coach, and he, I think, is like in his early 30s, and he is there to help the boys team, and the heroine is really not getting along with her coach. And then they're like, of course, like the boys coach brought in someone, like the girls never get treated the same, and they end up chatting and having a little bit of a flirtatious thing, and he's helping her with her swing and trying to get in the groove of things and getting that confidence back because she doesn't have as much confidence because of how her coach has been treating her. And it's a really, really good romance. I loved this. There's one point where he basically was just there to like comfort her when she just like utterly failed at a tournament, and I just love that sweet moment so much. So if you want a golf romance, read this one. Then we have Burnout. I feel like I have like 2 per author so far, but we have Burnout by Rebecca Genchak as well, which is a motocross kind of. He's like does tricks on bikes and stuff, and she's a gymnast, and I believe she was actually an Olympic gymnast, and she is helping train him so that he can get better at his sport. And he had been let go of a team, so now he's trying to join a different team. I think he like did racing first and now he's doing tricks, something like that. And so there's definitely a ton of sports talk in here, and they are training together, and so this definitely revolves around sports, and they're both athletes, and he doesn't really take her seriously. He's like, yeah, you're just like a little ballerina, and she's like, I'm literally an Olympic medalist, so you can go like, you know, be put in your place. And so there's so much bickering and like hate to love in here, but tons of sports in here. So another great one from Rebecca Genchak. And I have a baseball one. We have The Art of Catching Feelings. The last 2 are actually baseball. So this one is a newer release, and this does have the hidden identity trope. So if you are not a fan of that, I would be wary of this book because I've seen a lot of reviews not like that, but I really enjoyed it. The heroine made him cry the first time they met. She was like heckling the team and said something that was really just triggering personally to him because he had lost his brother, and it was related to that. She had no idea that like this had anything to do with that, and so she feels horrible, like so horrible. So she reaches out on social media, and she's like trying to like write out what she says and forgets to include the part about like who she is. So it's just like a really vulnerable message, and the hero is like really taken by it, and they start messaging back and forth, but he has no idea that she is the one that was like heckling him. And then she gets a job as this like kind of broadcaster for their social media for that team. And so in real life they have to be around each other, and he's falling for her on Instagram DMs, whatever, and she doesn't know how to tell him that she's the same person, and it gets very messy, but I really liked it. I like a little bit of mess in my romances. Definitely makes things angstier and adds a little bit of another layer to their relationship. And so I like this one. And like they are definitely growing closer in real life, because like he doesn't really like her because she was really mean to him, but then they had to be around each other a lot for their jobs and start actually like understanding each other and getting closer in real life. So things get a little complicated, but I really enjoyed it. And the last one I have has not a ton of sports in it, but the previous books do. So, but I'm talking about this one because it's new. So it's The Baller by Lulu Moore. If you want more sports, go read the first book, which is The Second Baseman, which is still my favorite of the series. But The Baller is about our hero who he meets the girl in a bookstore, and he's like, oh, I really like her, and then she kind of just like is like whatever and leaves, and then meets her at a bar, and he's like, I'm not letting her go this time, and he gives her his number. And then him and his friends are leaving. He's a baseball player, so he has all of his like teammate friends that he's friends with, who he lives together with, and then he sees her and someone's following her, and he's like, is this like the campus creeper? Because she's a college student and he is just like a younger baseball player. And so him and his friends are like, oh my god, like we should do something, like her and her friends are being followed. So they go to approach the guy whips around, whips out a weapon, takes them to the ground because he is Secret Service, because she is the president's daughter. And so that starts their relationship. It is so sweet. The heroine had an ex that really betrayed her in like one of the worst violating ways, and so she is very hesitant to trust anybody again, and so he has to take it slow. It's definitely a slower burn romance, and really kind of sweep her off her feet and just do really sweet stuff for her, and he really does. So this one was a really cute romance. Like I said, not as much baseball because I believe it's off season, if I remember correctly, because I don't think he ever has to like go to a game until like the end of the book, but I had so much fun reading this. But the whole series is really great. And those are some sports romances you should pick up if you are in the mood for sports now that the Olympics are starting soon. Let me know what sports you're excited to watch in the Olympics, but also let me know if you have any other recommendations. Specifically, if you have sports romance recommendations. There are some I haven't included because they're like were not my favorite, and these are like my really favorite sports romances that I've read. So let me know if you have any other recs, because I could use them all, especially if they're soccer, because like #1 soccer fan right here. But that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.